Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Covington City Council meeting for Tuesday, July 22nd. In compliance with state law, City Council special and regular meetings are held in a hybrid format with in-person, telephonic, and virtual options for public viewing and participation. With that, we'll call this meeting to order. And Krista, if you could please call the roll.
Councilmember Soltis.
I am here.
Councilmember Porter.
Here virtually.
Councilmember Hartsock.
Here.
Councilmember Harjahausen.
Present.
Councilmember Samomo.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith.
Here.
Mayor Wagner.
Here.
We have a quorum, Your Honor.
Thank you, Krista. If everybody could please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for that. And we'll move to approval of agenda. Regan, do we have any changes tonight?
Nothing that needs to be really added to it, but just so everyone's aware, the Chamber of Commerce, who is giving an update, will not be able to make it tonight. So we'll skip all that.
Right, thank you. I'd look for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The agenda has been approved. Next is reports of commissions. We do not have a report from Economic Development Council, Youth Council. Do we have anybody from Youth Council tonight? About Arts Commission. Welcome. Thank you for being here,
Good
Paloma.
evening, everyone. Thank you. So I don't have many updates for you all, but I have some good ones. Covington Days was excellent, very, very well. We had excellent weather, excellent reception from the community. We had coloring sheets of our Karma Collective outline. I did not bring any with me to show as examples, but it was a great hit, as well as our Karma the Collective board that we had, as well as the City of Covington Council booth had. We had a lot of questions, we had a lot of engagement, and we had a lot of excitement. I noticed a lot of excitement. People were very excited to have something featuring all of the businesses around Covington. For those of you that don't know, the Karma Collective is our joint project with the Economic Council, featuring 5-foot statues of Karma the Chameleon, representing different businesses around Covington and in the local area. We are expecting 5 statues between October and November 15th. We have been given a date by Icon Poly, as well as 3 rounds of revisions with presentations from images we will be selecting together. We do not have exactly. Karma's tail is used as a stabilization, but his arm was presented as kind of a challenging feature, maybe. So we're looking at possibly changing the position of his arm presentation. That's why I'm kind of like, we have it, but we may need to revise the image just a tad bit. But yeah, besides that, I don't really have any other updates for you guys for now.
Thank you.
I will
Have any questions for Paloma? No? Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate all that your commission's doing, and please pass on our thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Equity, Cultural, and Social Justice Commission. Do we have anybody? Okay. Human Services. Welcome.
Good evening, Commissioner Stevens with the Human Services Commission. So last month, we reviewed the Open Public Meetings Act. We did our training on that. And then we discussed our 2025 work plan and events and aligned them with prepping for the grant year, as well as looking at the rest of the year at that midpoint. And then prepared for Covington Days. So we did do a table on Sunday for Covington Days. We got a lot of engagement. So every time we're going and tabling, we're also getting feedback from the community. The biggest things we're hearing right now is buses. A lot of people that are looking at having to move out of Covington because they can't get to work effectively, since we only have 1 bus line running through Covington right now. So we did hear multiple people looking for buses into Seattle and Bellevue and the surrounding area. They love the community, they love Covington, but unfortunately right now they're looking at having to move because of those services. as well as a lot of feedback for senior services. The surrounding communities have senior service centers and community centers that do different senior tailored activities, as well as senior services such as estheticians. And because they are swamped with the seniors in their community, then Covington is not providing that for our seniors, and we cannot, they are having difficulties getting on the schedule for Maple Valley Senior Center and Kent Senior Center because they are servicing their community first, as well as reliable transit for our senior citizens. So there are a bunch of King County transit for seniors specifically, where it's those buses that are taking to and from. However, they don't service the Covington area. So we're still looking to see if there are nonprofits or others in the area that can bridge that gap. But as of right now, that is a service that people are bringing up that they do not have access to in our city, as well as preparing for Kids Fest in August. We are going to have a table there. We are also going to do a tabling event at the library in August, at Covington Library, to get the word out, as well as participating in multiple other events throughout the year. And for the next meeting, we are continuing to prepare for our tabling events in August and September, as well as a Halloween event at the Covington Place Senior Apartments. And we are getting feedback for the mental health and developmental disabilities levy. There's a 30-minute presentation on what the feedback and results from that levy have been.
Great, thank you. You also have any questions for Kaylee? Thank you very much, and please pass on our thanks to the entire commission for all you do.
Of course.
Thank you. Parks and Recreation, Connie.
Hello. Hello, Council. I wanted to give you an update, and like the other commissions, we were present at Covington Days and also saw a lot of excitement from the residents, and it helped that we had the pictures of the park designs and some of the other plans that we have on the table. So in addition to great interest and good engagement with the citizens, the top things that they were interested in and talking more about was, of course, the aquatic center, and then our trails and the trail extension, especially the Jenkins Creek Trail, and the accessibility that will provide to the city hall and that area over near Founders Park, all the way down to Lake Point. So talked about that a lot with them. And then of course, dog park was a topic for a lot of people that they were interested in. So that was great to engage with them and encourage them to continue to pique our interest there, because I know that's something that we have talked about as a commission. And then at our last meeting, we had an update from the aquatics division from Landon, and it was fantastic. They continue to do so much there, keeping the pool running. And we did a tour underneath the pool, which is always fun. I look forward to that. And then the next, we talked about the recreation program update, and just a couple things of note. We're having our third pickleball tournament this summer, and there's already 85 players registered for that. So another successful tournament that we'll have. We just started lawn volleyball this year. And so that was very exciting on Fridays. We had 50 participants at the first week of the event. So that was very exciting to see that happening in Covington. Then we just recently also had the Princess and Superhero meet and greet. And that was a big success. We had over 300 people there, and they were also walking around Covington Days. So that was a nice attraction to see there for the families. And then lastly, we are excited to remind you, I know you've been over there, but Founders Park is open to the public with no foreseeable closures for any material reason. So that's very exciting to know that we're moving forward and making progress on that. And that was also a notable park that people were asking about at Covington Days, when they could see the plan for the eventual wellness center or maybe aquatic center, as we sometimes like to refer to it, with City Hall there, and then across the street, Founders Park, and the whole connection with the trail system. So I laid out the big vision, the big picture vision that we had long-term for the town center in that area. So that got people excited. So hopefully they'll help us out with funding.
Great.
Are there any questions?
Anybody have any questions for Connie?
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much, and
Yes.
please pass on our thanks to the commission.
I will. Thank you.
Thanks, Connie. Planning Commission, Kenner, welcome.
So the last session we had on July 17th, we continued to review the critical area code updates that we're looking into. We're working with staff on some of the potential changes regarding buffers, setback sizes of streams and shorelines specifically. They're generally managed by the Washington Department of Natural Resources, so they've got some water typing systems that we follow here in Covington. The specific changes that we're looking for are generally going to be in the non-fish bearing streams. Right now, the buildable setback is 115 feet for fish bearing streams, 30 for seasonal non-fish bearing, and 60 for perennial non-fish bearing. We're proposing to just bump those up from 30 and 60 to 100 feet to be in line with the state's guidance, basically. So we're doing some assessment on what that means for buildable area in the future. We don't think it's going to be too material impacted, but nevertheless should be some changes coming there.
Great, thank you. Does council have any questions? No? Well, thank you very much, and please pass on our thanks to the entire commission. All right, thank you. That concludes our reports of commissions tonight, and thank you to each of our commissioners who gave a report. You've put in a lot of hard work for our community, so thank you. Next up is an update from Lake Point, Brookfield. Scott, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for being at Covington Day.
I was going to say a couple follow-ups from good evening, council. Scott Jones with Brookfield Properties. A couple follow-ups in the presentations. First, I want the under pool tour because I don't know what that means. Get under a pool. We also were at Covington Days Saturday and Sunday, and especially Saturday was very busy. A lot of interest in the Lake Point project, and so a lot of what I'll show here is what we talked about and what we showed the folks on over the weekend. So I think I have control over here. So let's see. Oops, I went too fast. Okay, so a quick agenda. I've got way more information in this PowerPoint than we can probably cover here real quickly. So I'll kind of jump through some things quickly. Stop me along the way if you want to dive into more details or anything. Obviously the PowerPoint can kind of stand on its own for some of the information. So and then first, I think we're going to start with Marita coming up and talking about the branding that we put together.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. It's so nice to see you all. Mayor, council. Okay, so I need to use this thing. Okay, so I wanted to start by explaining a little bit of our process as we went through the branding portion of our advertising or marketing mission, and it was to engage Drake Cooper, who is our ad agency that we use at Tehale, our master plan community down in Pierce County. They help us on Reed's Crossing outside of Portland, as well as several communities in Arizona. So they are well versed in community branding and bringing a community to life, and we have a lot of faith in their talents. The first thing they did is brought their team out from Boise and met with us in person, did an all-day session with Brookfield and Toll Brothers so that they could get immersed in the brand. They went out on site and visited Lake Point, and saw what it was all about in person. And all of that helped them put together a mission, values, and a vision for us and for Lake Point. The mission being that we want to bring lively urban experiences to a connected suburban setting. The ultimate vision is to transform Lake Point into a hub of culture, commerce, and community. The values that we've identified to help us get there are that in all of our branding and marketing, that we communicate that Lake Point is going to be urban and natural. So it's going to be a vibrant urban community set in a beautiful natural setting, and being right adjacent to the King County Park helps with that because our trail systems are going to connect to that park. We're going to have the lake. And so together, that really helps us bring the urban into the natural. I'm going to skip down to space and style because space is obviously meant to convey that you can walk outside your door and you have space and you can walk to get coffee, you can walk to get a grocery, you can meet up a friend at the park, but it's not at the you're not having to sacrifice style anymore. We're bringing a stylish community. Toll Brothers is going to bring beautiful, stylish products, so you get both in one place. And then the easy in and easy out. That one I want to hit on just a little bit because, especially being a resident here, I know how important it is to convey to people, especially if they're in Seattle or Bellevue, that yes, if you're coming 30 minutes out, it doesn't, you're going to be in that urban and natural setting, but we are so central to everything. And I don't think people really realize that. And especially with Lake Point Boulevard, you'll be able to pop right down to the 18 with easy access to the 5, up to the 405, the 90. You can go, it's 30 minutes to Seattle, 30 minutes to Bellevue, 30 minutes to Tacoma, 30 minutes to Snoqualmie if you want to go skiing. And so I spent a great deal of time conveying that to all of my partners here and really made that part of the mission and the brand positioning, because I want to be able to convey that to our target markets or home shoppers. All right, and then the target markets. So the 3 profiles that we have listed here are 3 primary profiles, but that doesn't mean that we won't be trying to get anybody we can through the door. But essentially, who we call Harper and Kai, those are 2 different millennial groups. Kai might be, a tech worker in Bellevue. He's living in a studio apartment, looking to purchase his first home, can't quite afford anything in Bellevue yet, but he makes enough to buy something that might be attractive in our new urban and natural Lake Point. Then we have Harper, who might live in Seattle. She's an older millennial, having her first kid, possibly married, needs more space than a 1-bedroom condo. Where can she go that will give her a place that she can afford to buy and have that lifestyle with her young child? On the opposite end of the spectrum, we have Theo, who is our baby boomer, who is looking to downsize. He wants more time to travel and go do things outdoorsy. And so a lock and leave situation is better for Theo. So those would be the primary targets that we see looking to live at Lake Point. And of course, we'll take anybody in between as well. All right. And then taking all of that into account, then Drake Cooper went back to the creative team and started working on our look and feel. So the Lake Point logo, those directional lines are meant to convey movement within urban streetscapes. So have a little bit of city sophistication and feel, but not overly sophisticated. We don't want to alienate anybody because this isn't, Bellevue or anything like that. We want to be exactly what we are. And then the color palette itself, you can see that it combines some earth tones in the middle there, and then some blue tones, which is obviously representative of the lake. And on either end of that color palette are a little bit more sophisticated colors that bring in that city sophistication that I was talking about. So really trying to blend all of those things together. The 3 blocks below are what we call our pattern, our brand pattern. And the 3 different versions of it are really just for us to be able to use them in different ways that make sense. So like the one on the left is extremely vibrant. We wouldn't want to overuse that in everything. The one on the right is more toned down. We might use that in like a black and white type of ad or something of that nature. So we have, but the pattern itself, if you look closely, is representative of the A in Lake Point. And so it's just making sure that we are bringing that brand that we created with the Lake Point logo into everything that we do. And I have to say, as a side note, just as a marketing person, the creative guy who led this project used to build and design fonts from scratch. So he was a total font nerd, which I loved because he really put his heart and soul into this project. And it really showed because on this slide, you can see that Drake Cooper entered their work on this Lake Point brand into the Cascadia Creative Awards and won a gold medal for the identity and brand design category. So that was, it made me feel good that we chose this direction as the winner from everything they originally presented. And we're really excited to bring it and roll it out. Now, I do want to caveat that picture that you're seeing right there, that's not anything an architect designed. That Drake Cooper, you just created that probably with AI so that we could see kind of an example of how the Lake Point logo might be used. But we love how it looks, and we're excited to see it in real life. Next steps are now going to be looking at what kind of web presence we're going to put out there, paid advertising, start focusing on events for like the Lake Point grand opening, ribbon cutting event, which hopefully you guys will all be there. And then eventually when the Model Village, when Toll Brothers is ready to open that, doing events around that. And so starting to plan those next steps. Any questions? Yes.
Timing for those next steps.
Okay, so Lake Point Boulevard grand opening. Are we spring?
And what about Model Village?
The Model Village we're looking at next. That's also pretty close to next spring, right? Next summer. Yeah. Yeah, because it was going to be next spring. Now we think it's going to be more like June-ish.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Any other questions? Anything else you want me to cover? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nothing else to cover, Marie. I just realized that I probably should have had her go second because I have all the boring stuff, the infrastructure and sewer and stuff like that. So it kept the attention, but this always amazes me. I've gone through this several times now as we've done this for multiple projects, and the intentionality and thought that goes into the branding is always amazing to me. And then you see it and you hear the story behind it, it's like, oh, that all makes sense. It all comes together. And Drake Cooper is really fun to work with and very, very creative. Okay, whoops. I think I skipped there. I did skip. Okay, so master plan. This is the map that we showed the citizens on Saturday and Sunday at Covington Days. Really is the first time we've released a kind of full master plan. Literally got this version last Wednesday afternoon in a panic saying, look, guys, I got to print this tomorrow because we're showing up on Saturday. Just a couple of caveats, kind of like Marita said, especially the commercial area. This is a conceptual rendering, early plans, and I'll talk a little bit more about the commercial center here in a few minutes, but just to make sure to caveat that there are some images and exhibits here, but everything is still kind of in that rendering space, but it has been initially thought through. So let me go forward here with it. I don't know that I need to cover this. This is more kind of the guiding documents and zoning, just kind of maybe wanted to put some detail that there's a lot of information and a lot of different documents that kind of guide the direction of the development. Okay, Lake Point Boulevard. We are pretty close, probably 80–90% complete with the roadway. Curb and gutter is in, first lift of asphalt is in, landscaping is in. If any of you have walked out there, even though the gate's closed, but that's okay. But we're bringing in an awful lot of dirt imports the rest of this year. And so from a safety standpoint, we talked to city staff and thought it'd be better to wait until next spring to open the road. So we'll be bringing in a lot of material through October, November, as long as the weather lasts. And then we'll go through the process of transferring the property and the road over to the city in the spring of next year. So then open it up to traffic, which will be, I know, exciting for the whole community, especially Marina. Cut our commute down a few minutes. Okay, Timber Lane sewer installation. I put this in here just as an acknowledgement. We've been pretty proactive about reaching out to the residents. I had several good conversations Saturday and Sunday with neighbors near there. We've got a QR code on a flyer with monthly updates of what's going on with those. But I thought this one was more, if there's any questions on this one, happy to answer. Otherwise, we're moving along, and I think we're doing a pretty good job reaching out to people and keeping them informed, unless I hear otherwise from you all tonight.
I just want to make a comment that the crew that's working out there,
Mhm.
the flaggers and everybody, they get traffic going through very well. So
Good to
I
hear.
would agree. You don't wait more than a minute. I mean, truly, I go through there a few times a day.
Yep.
Agreed.
Well, maybe they learned from the roundabout project into how when I wasn't very happy. That's good to hear. And we actually did receive an email compliment from a neighbor, which that does not happen very often. We were all very excited about that. Okay, so the first neighborhood, Maple Hills Lake Point, is 22 lots. That neighborhood, from a land development perspective, is finished. Toll is building their model home and just received permits for several homes in the last couple of weeks. So they'll be starting homes. They have 2 pre-sales on homes, and so they've started the sales and advertising in there, and are getting some traffic. And once they get the model open, they'll get a lot more traffic because people like to come and see what the home's going to look like. But starting off well there. Again, I'm going to go kind of quick. Phase 2.1 neighborhood is on the eastern side of the community. We're very close to having permits on this, hoping to start construction here in August. This will bring on 170 homes, includes a mix of single family townhomes and multifamily units. So starting off with that variety, that's a total of 6 different products. And I'll talk a little bit more about how we want to show off all of those different products. What you see in here, this image is of the park in phase 2.1. A lot of programming in that park, a lot of activities going on there, so it should be a highlight of this neighborhood. And an extension of the Highlands Trail. The next phase is phase 3, which is kind of highlighted in this picture here as 260 homes. A lot of continuation of similar styles of homes, products of homes going there. And then the future phases, phase 2.2 is at the northern portion there above Lake Point Boulevard. And then phase 4 and 5 are one phase is shown here, most of that's in the future. So just kind of gives you a sense of the cadence that as we go through the project. Okay, I couldn't change this one because I already submitted it. Okay. The town center, maybe a commercial district. I know the city is the town center for the downtown area here, so we'll change that reference, so we'll have our own space there. Brought a company called CenterCal on board recently as a partner. And if you know of Totem Lake in Kirkland, they developed that and still own that, still manage that. They also do the lakes at Silverdale, if you've been over there. And then if you happen to have been to the Boise area, the village at Meridian is a amazing project. Try not to think of that one here because that's like 1.5 million square feet, 2 million square feet. It's massive, but their level of execution, no matter what the scale of the project is really, really excellent. And they kind of think how we think as far as the placemaking, the activity and people and how people interact with the project is important. So they start there, build a vision around that, and then go look for tenants. And so they've got a vision now. This is the vision starting with. They're just starting reaching out to potential tenants over the last like literally 30 days. I've had good response, good interest. Obviously, those are conversations at this point that'll start to turn into letters of intent and things. Hopefully over the next several months, and that'll be something I'm sure we'll want to keep you updated as we learn new things. We'll be careful to. We want to be careful not to mention names yet, and we don't have any now. But even when we do, there's still a lot of time through that process to get things settled in. So. I'd say fastest we're hoping this would be best case scenario to be submitting site development permits next year, and then what I told folks over the weekend is it's at least 2 years from now before we're probably going vertical in construction. So just to kind of set an expectation. That depends on the market, obviously, and the tenants and all those things. So okay, focal points. I'll kind of go quickly here. I think you know a lot of these things. So the West Gateway is complete at the roundabout there. The East Gateway, this is a rendering of what we're looking at for the East Gateway. The artistic element of it, the color and the material all matches at the roundabout. So the red steel with the holes in it, so all that connects the two sides together. The wildlife undercrossing. So this is the wildlife tunnel goes underneath Lake Point Boulevard, providing a pedestrian connection along pedestrian pathway along the Highlands Trail, and then also for a wildlife crossing. Work with the Arts Commission on the art for there. So this is the art that you see up here is what we're going forward with. I'm going to think about when to do this because I prefer to have some eyes around the area so this doesn't get tagged with graffiti. So we'll kind of think through that as to when exactly the right time is to do this. Because we do it too early and there's nobody out there, it'll be just a hassle to keep trying to keep it clean. So it'll be a really cool opportunity though. Got a master's trails plan, and I highlighted all kinds of different things here. One of them that was mentioned, the Parks Commission earlier, connecting to the Jenkins Trail on the west end of the project, and then it goes all the way to kind of on the south side of Lake Point, across the project. It connects to the Highlands Trail over to Cedar Creek Park. So really is a component of that bigger, city parks or city trails map with the Jenkins Creek Trail. Lots of other opportunities, connections into various neighborhoods, mostly to the south side the community. And then, of course, sidewalks all over the place, and there'll be pedestrian connectivity all through the commercial area as well, so. Okay, parks kind of similar, lots of different parks. There's some minimum requirements that are met there just for kind of a scale. And then, of course, the Peninsula Park, working on the park at the end of that peninsula. Don't know exactly what it'll look like yet, but certainly are looking forward to come up with some plans for that. And then the commercial area has a half-acre park as well that can really serve as that focal point in that area. Sustainability, we're kind of maybe 75% through working on a sustainability plan, like an overall master sustainability plan. We brought online a local company called Delta E, who specializes in this, to help us evaluate what we're planning on doing, and then give us some ideas and some thoughts on how we could do better and improve and what it would take to do that. She has literally, the gal Stephanie has literally gone through every single one of Toll Brothers floor plans and done an energy rating for every single one. So it took a little longer. I did not realize we were going that detailed. So it took a little longer, but I think we're going to have some cool opportunity to see all the different opportunities that we're looking into. And I think it's going to turn out to be really cool. So that'll be something we'll update you on a little more in the future as to what that looks like. And we'll work with staff on that first before we go too far with that, because they haven't seen anything yet. Actually, I haven't seen anything yet. And then actually, this is the last slide. So Rita mentioned model homes. And so I mentioned earlier that the Toll Brothers have 6 different products. It's really kind of 7. One's a front load and an alley load, so it could go both. So really kind of 7 different products for home buyers. What we're planning on doing is doing 14, or Paul's planning on doing 14 different models. So we're modeling 2 models for every one of those products. And so when a home buyer comes to the community, they're all centrally located. This is kind of on the east side of phase 2.1. There's a community sales center where they can meet Toll staff, understand what the options are, go look at the homes that appeal to them for whatever reason, but all within walking distance right there in very close proximity. So set that experience. And for any of those who may have been to 10 Trails in the Regency community there, kind of a similar, that's also Toll, kind of a similar experience, numerous model homes in one area, and that way you can get that you can experience however many different styles you want to look at. So it'll be a really cool opportunity. We're just starting to talk with staff about this idea. So I think that's all I have. I think so, yeah. Hopefully it didn't take too long. I think
No, you're perfect. Does council have any questions for Scott or Rick? Yes, go ahead.
Can't imagine there being any questions.
Just one.
Okay.
On one of the slides, you referred to senior living on the peninsula. So I can envision where that was. Is that 55 and over living, or is that like apartments for senior apartments?
That's a good question. There's even one more. It wouldn't be 55 plus, because those are typically more a traditional single family neighborhood, just with single stories. So it wouldn't be 55 plus, but a senior living, more of a the concept where you have 4 different levels of care within. So assisted living, independent living, assisted living, memory care, Alzheimer's, and you can stay within the facility. And as your needs change over time, move to different areas in the facility. So
okay, great. Thank you.
Potentially.
Jennifer.
Yes, talking about parks, any thoughts for a dog park?
There actually is a dog park in phase 2.1.
How large do you know at this point?
I don't know off the top of my head. I'm gonna say, you happen to know, John? Yeah, I think so.
Could you
maybe,
just
maybe
email
half an
us
acre.
later?
It's on the Williams pipeline. On the
Okay,
pipeline area there where
Okay.
their gas line is. So we're kind of making a dual use out of that space.
okay, that is fantastic news.
I think that
And then
my only
second,
hesitation with that, as it was mentioned earlier, it's kind of for the neighborhood in the sense that there's not a lot of parking there. So
oh, absolutely,
whole
you're
city
gonna
would
need
be-
to know that people are gonna be coming in there, for sure. Maybe you can put it close to the commercial and somehow to get them to have to buy things to go there. Other question is, projected price range.
Yeah, so the in the Maple Hills homes that are for sale right now, they're starting in the mid 900s. I'd say base price is up to about 1.1 million. Those are all fairly large single family detached homes. When we get to the townhome and multifamily or condo units, we think we'll be starting in the 600s. But still some work to do, and obviously time before we get there. But that's kind of the range, say in the 600s to 1.1 million.
Okay,
Yeah.
great, thank you.
Christina?
That gave me a question. You mentioned that there's a range as far as price, but there are larger homes, 900 plus. What's the range of the square footage of the homes that are going? I know that's a big one as far as like single family.
1,200 to up to
36.
35 to maybe 3,000.
So Johnson, maybe 1,500 for some of the smaller condos, and then up to 25, 2,600, and some of the Maple Hills ones are even a little larger than that, or 3,000 square feet. So
Okay, thank you.
trying to find a whole variety.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you. Appreciate this. This is exciting. And I know a lot of people that were coming to the city booth were asking about Lake Point. So it was great to have your booth that we could just point them to. And Rita, I really appreciated the branding it when you were going and before you got to it. I said, well, how is this vision different than any other, kind of planned community? And am I correct in saying that you're branding this as it's a centrally located new community that's close to all of these amenities, or is that?
And stylish.
Yeah, stylish,
Yeah, we're trying to convey that that it's something new that we don't have out here in this region. Really, I think the next closest thing might be Kent Station, and this is gonna, you know what I mean,
Right,
as in terms of having retail and commercial that you can walk to with a little bit of entertainment. But this is going to be even better because it's Toll Brothers, and we're gonna have the lake, and we're gonna have all the parks, and it's gonna be connected to the trail system and everything. So it's really important for us to convey to somebody that might not have thought of coming out here, like somebody that lives in Seattle or Bellevue, or even somebody who's from out of the area that isn't familiar with Covington. Again, how centrally located it is, and it's not just a suburb, and you're not just being, coming to live in an area that's just all single, young or middle age single families. It's going to be vibrant. There's going to be all age ranges of people, people with different interests, and so it's just important for us to be able to position it as something that doesn't exist at all.
Great.
Does that help?
Yeah, that's great. And then my other question, could we go back a couple slides to the one where you show the commercial? One of the seems to be I don't know if it's a trend or a best management practice or whatever you want to call it, that one. Often, especially now kind of with our core downtown, if they redevelop, we're asking them to move their businesses closer to the road and put the parking behind that. Whereas in this image, it's flipped. And I'm just wondering if there was thinking on that. And if this is set in stone, I can see where the business wants to be closer to 18, so they have that visibility. But for aesthetics, would we want the businesses to be closer to the connector
to Lake Point Boulevard?
Yeah.
So I think and first request is certainly not fixed, and this is a very dynamic map. In fact, I think it changed Thursday after I got it Wednesday. I think, I don't know what I can point with. Can I just point to the screen to give you a sense?
Yeah.
So this. Oh, that's Jan.
Yeah.
Forgot about that. Folks online. Okay, so, and for those online, I'm kind of pointing towards if you go from Lake Point Boulevard intersection and go north, kind of looking at that as sort of a Main Street kind of feel, and then a little bit more east-west road that goes through there, that kind of being the area, the center of energy, and that area being where the home or the businesses are up tight to the road, that create that walkable space, and that space could also be closed off during events like we did, and obviously this weekend. So you have that balance. You got the bigger buildings backing onto 18, so you're not seeing the service side of those buildings. So trying to balance all of those things, just like you were saying.
So it is the intention that those elements, there will be ways that they're connected. Because I guess the way I'm looking at it right now, I don't see that. But if that's the intent, that you will be able to easily walk from the bigger buildings in the top to the peninsula.
Yes,
that's great.
That's absolutely cool. And there's a pedestrian signal, traffic signal across Lake Point Boulevard to help with that as well. In fact, it's already there. Anything else?
No.
I love it. I remember Margaret and I meeting with the Hawk family back in, I want to say 2008, 2009, when they had the vision of turning the Lakeside Industries, the gravel pit, into something. And I'm sure they're watching and everything, because this was very close to their vision of what they wanted to see happen for Covington. And I love the branding. I mean, when you showed that, I like that. And then, so I've visited the crossings in Meridian a couple of times now, and how the parking is on the outside and drives everybody in. So it's like it's a centrifugal force that just brings people right into the center where all the shops and everything are. And that's, I mean, I know you can't build that here, but the design leads to that. So this is going to be extremely exciting, and I'm really looking forward to that ribbon cutting. Not only for Lake Point Boulevard, but for each and every phase that happens, and to celebrate with you and the entire team of what's being accomplished here to bring to Covington. So thank you to you, Rita, your entire team of working through all the challenges that you've occurred and the millions of dirt you've had to bring in, millions of yards of dirt. So yeah, this is going to be very exciting. So thank you. Yeah. And thank you for bringing this to us and being at Covington Days to share the excitement.
So thank you.
Anybody else?
I just want to know if I can get a copy of that map you had at Covington Days, because I liked it and I could show people the general ideas, and people have asked me a lot of times what's going to go in there, and
I think we can put a disclaimer on it.
yeah, like, hey, this is the possibility.
Yeah, I know.
If I could just get a copy of that. I've been asked a lot of times.
I found myself in the last month. We have to show something. No, we can't show that. We have to show something. We can't. Try to find that right balance. Yeah, we can get something.
All right. Well, thank you again very much for being here tonight. And again, thank you for being at Covington Days. That's very exciting. Thank you. All right. We do not have a Chamber of Commerce update tonight. It was emailed out to each of us. So let's move into our first of two public comment periods. Speakers will state their name, organization, and whether they are a Covington resident. Comments are directed to City Council, not the audience or staff. Comments are to be related to city business. Thank you, Joe. Comments are not intended for conversation or debate and are limited to 4 minutes per speaker. For attendees participating by Zoom, click the raise hand button. For attendees participating by phone, dial *9 to raise your hand. Once the city grants permission to speak, press unmute in Zoom and dial *6 to unmute by phone. Please note that campaigning for any ballot measure or candidate at City Hall or during council meetings, including public comment period, is prohibited by state law RCW 42.178.555. And with that, I see Marita, did you have anything else you'd like to speak? Okay. Kaylee, did you have anything else you'd like to speak? Welcome.
Hello, good evening, Kaylee Stevens. I am here as a citizen. I live in the city of Covington. I had the pleasure of speaking with this gentleman this last weekend. I just had a couple concerns I brought up in May with the tree removal. I received what the permit number was, but I can't find that on the Citizen Connect portal, and I meant to reach back out, but I didn't. There was just a couple issues with the city website as far as Lake Point development. So the plan, the map they had today and the map they had of the weekend was great, but the ones on the website are all from 2021. So it's hard to see the updated because the last annual report is from 2020. That's on the city website. Because I know they're doing a lot of work on their end, and like things are constantly changing. A lot has changed in the last 5 years. But just getting that onto the city website so that the citizens, especially the residents right in that area who were being pretty heavily impacted by all the construction as well as the sewer upgrade. When I was walking around Covington Days, I stopped at the King County wastewater site because wastewater is a lot of what my job is right now. And so just like checking in, and they mentioned that they're doing an upgrade as well. And I asked if it had anything tying in with what we're doing now because the maps were very close to each other. And they're like, we have no idea what's going on right now. They've asked us a lot of questions. We've been getting a lot of calls, but nobody has told us what the upgrade is. We don't know if it's Sue's Creek or who is doing the sewer upgrade, because it's not us and no one has told us. I don't necessarily think that like y'all have to tell them, but it was just weird that the King County wastewater like public affairs person wasn't tracking or had no information about upgrades to the sewer. I don't know what like the legality is, and I'm not saying like somebody was wrong. I'm just saying that that was they also had no idea, so they thanked me for informing them who was doing the upgrade so they can better direct people and their questions, because they said they were getting a high number of calls regarding the work. So I guess just my concern is just getting all the good work that they're doing and all the good PR they're doing and uploading it to the city's website, so that way we can effectively use that. Especially because a lot of these permits, when I got a response from May's meeting, was there was a call to action in February of 24, the call for public comment in February of 2024, but the trees weren't cut down until May of 2025. And I didn't buy my house until the end of 2024, so that there's a lot of turnover that happens in a year and a half. And when the public comment is a year and a half before the action, it's really hard to get active and what is most up to date from the citizens and the residents.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else in the audience wishing to address council this evening? Is there anybody online wishing to address council? Please raise their hand. Seeing nobody approach the podium or raise their hand, we'll close this first public comment period. There will be an opportunity towards the end of the meeting for a second public comment period. Next is approval of the consent agenda consisting of items C1 through C6. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor state aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? The consent agenda has been approved. That brings us to new business item number 1. Review the 2025 Summit Action Items List. Mr. Boley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is just our mid-year update on what's been happening with the action items that came out of our 2025 summit. So I'll just kind of cruise through those quickly. First one, our neighborhood traffic calming program. That's something that we did under that, the items under that, and have completed. The second one there, that's something that we've done a lot of work on, as you're aware, and plan to include, working to include a decision card in the 2026 budget to help with traffic calming devices. The intersection signage that council wanted to put out here at 168th about not blocking the intersection. WashDOT's made it clear that that's not something they want on the masts and the poles there. So it's something we could put in the median. I don't think it's going to change behavior. This is really a capacity issue that's being planned for in the new road design with the roundabouts, but unfortunately it's a lot of money and several years away to that point. So we'll continue to track that. We do have officers that frequent that site, but it still just remains a tough intersection at this point. So with the LID, the Local Improvement District, as you know, we've worked quite a bit with Timberlane on that. We put together a lot of information, brought that to council for a decision on how to proceed with that. We shared that with the Timberlane board. I believe that was in May, but we've not heard back yet from them on how they want to proceed. For the research for safe routes to school, that is not open until 2026. So we'll track that and work on applying at that point. We've also looked at possibly CDBG or some other avenues. Just kind of skipping through there, you can see some of the stuff is ongoing, some of it's completed. Number 9 is the Metropolitan Parks District. As you know, a lot of work's been done on that. A lot of information's been put out. And I did send you an email on this as well, but the survey is now live. So if you can share that, spread the word, the more responses we get, the greater information we'll be able to have there. Strategic communications, we did put together a communications plan. We're working on photography and video needs assessment. Developing some editorial calendar, kind of highlight things that we can do a little later in the year, and then kind of a did you know article that we'll put in our city scoop. Climate action plan, Selena's done a lot with that and shared a lot with you there, especially in relation to the comp plan. We do anticipate Commerce issuing additional guidance, and so we'll address those as they come down. With proclamations, as you know, we made some changes there, and those have all been completed. Same with the Youth Council resolution, removing the adult leaders from that. And then with the commission communications with council, we decided to form kind of a standing meeting every so often with all the commission liaisons, the staff liaisons, to really kind of talk about and coordinate what's happening between our commissions. And from that, we also let all of our commissions know that the invitation is open to meet with council additional times if they'd like to request that. So they all are aware that that's an opportunity that they have. And then obviously all the changes we made to the interviews for commission members. So that's kind of a quick update. Happy to address any specific questions.
Council have any questions for Regan? All right. Thank you for keeping us up to date on everything that was brought up. So appreciate that.
Yep.
All right. Thank you. All right. That concludes new business. Looking at our future agenda is on August 12th. We have interviews starting at 6, and then our regular meeting will be at 7. Does council have anything else they'd like to see on a future agenda? All right. With that, then let's move into council staff comments. We'll start with Chief.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just a couple hours ago, we had a flock hit. A car coming into Covington from Maple Valley that had stolen license plates. We went to go look for it. I sat out on Kangley by Multicare that passed me. One of our detectives went into Home Depot, found the car. We began setting up on it. The suspects came back out to the car. He attempted to stop them, deployed a taser. It didn't work. They got in, drove off. We tried to pit them so they didn't hurt anybody. They still got away. They crashed along Kangley next to Cedar Heights. They ran away on foot. We put a dog, helicopter, and drone out to try to find them. We did not find them. We'll figure them out eventually. We have photos of them already, so we're working on that. But the flock cameras have been a lot of fun when we get to use them, so thank you.
Great. Thank you, Chief.
Yep.
Ethan.
It's an exciting
night. Hi again, Mayor and Council. Nothing from me tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Ethan. Don.
I just wanted to let you all know we did get the bid advertised for the maintenance facility yesterday. So fingers crossed we get lots of good bids for that. And bid opening is on August 18th. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Don. Selena.
Thank you for your time this evening, and I have nothing further for you.
Thanks, Selena. Casey.
Just an update that the first part of our audit is getting ready to wrap up at the end of the month, and I'll keep you posted as of what the results are going to be. But as of right now, there's nothing material and only maybe a few minor exit items. So I'll keep you posted. Thank you.
Thanks, Casey. Mark.
There's no executive session this evening, and I have no additional report. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Regan.
Just wanted to thank those who were able to walk in the parade, and just a heads up, we're gonna have to figure out how to speed us up a little bit next year. So be thinking of ways we can do that so there's not a 10-minute gap between the float in front of us.
Can we drive some of the maintenance vehicles maybe?
No.
Just wanted to drive one of the floaters.
It'd be harder to throw candy, John.
Yeah.
But more fun.
Thanks, Regan. Krista.
Nothing for me tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Krista. Christina.
Just to tell on to what Regan said, Covington days were amazing. We did have fun. We need to strategize because there's a lot going on before the parade, and so we don't really talk. But hey, we're gonna walk. But I think we need to strategize for next year in certain ways. But it was such a good time. So many residents being in that booth for the few hours that I was. We were, at least during our shift with Debbie, we had so many more people come ask so many questions, and they were good questions, at least far more than the previous years when I was in the booth. The turnout was amazing, and there was a lot of excitement. So just looking forward to finessing all the little tweaks and to next year's.
Thanks, Christina. Beth?
I just wanted to thank everybody for holding down the fort. I'm sorry that I couldn't be there this weekend to celebrate the city, but appreciate the flexibility and the support for myself and my family. So, and I'm just thankful that we're back onto garbage service. It's good to I did go to the drop off last week before we left town, and it went really well. It was run really well. But it's good that we don't have to do that anymore. So hopefully we'll be set for a while on that. That's it.
Thanks, Beth. Sean?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple things. The Regional Fire Authority had its most recent meeting last Wednesday. If you all remember, this was the follow-up to the interviews for the chief. And we had 3 candidates, and we had a unanimous selection of Mark Jones. He's currently a deputy chief, been with the RFA for years. He's worked in just about every aspect of the fire department, so he's going to bring a lot of experience and consistency to the position. And so I know the transition between now, when Mark will take over, and Chief Carson, they're going to be working closely to coordinate on strategic visions and things that can going forward, one of which might be the incorporation of Black Diamond into the RFA. So it continues to expand. So just we're excited to get Mark up and running. So and then Covington Days, I'd say the same thing. I had a great time. The parade was great. A lot was I saw Daniel Keith in the audience. I know. Yeah. So but at the booth, I got some just general feedback from people. One of the questions was great to hear Lake Point. A lot of questions about what's happening at Lake Point and when is it going to start. Specific feedback, more concerts. One person was, recognizing that, we had to make some tough choices, but that was one thing she said that's geared or accessible to our older residents, and she was disappointed we cut that. Another woman came to me about her concern related to wildlife and seeing a lot of the trees going down. And so I told her I'd share that, and but I was able to talk about the overpass, the bridge that we built over 272nd, which incorporates wildlife and fish passages, as well as what's going on at Lake Point. So support for the kids event, a lot of lanyards went out. Volunteer ops, a lot of questions about how they can volunteer. So that's great to see. And many new residents came up, said we just moved here, and we're really excited. This is great. We love seeing this. And then we got a request from some people that live in the Meridian neighborhood to annex them. So they want to be part of it.
We tried when we first became a city.
Yeah. So anyway, that's it.
Thank you, Sean. Debbie.
Thank you. I think those same folks came and saw me on Saturday. I just wanted to say, usually I leave with a whole notebook full of things I need to follow up on. I really appreciated, Krista, that some things we could just put on notes and put it in that bucket for follow-up. Krista and I both, Christina and I both came away with one that we've already worked with Ethan on, and then, with Dawn on. But I walked away with 2 really good, encouraging feedback notes. And they were both around our parks and rec. So I had one family come by and ask if we could move the boundary just a little bit further so that their neighborhood would be Covington. And no, we couldn't do that, but we could sell them a house in Covington. And then the next day they said that
you can move the boundary.
Another family came and said that they live in Kent, and while Kent has a lot of events and a lot of park type, pop-up type things, that ours were much better, and they didn't have to travel as far, because for them to go to the ones in Kent, they'd have to go all the way down closer to Kent Station. So I think that's hats off to our Parks and Rec department. Last week, I went on the SeaTac tour, which if they do that again, I would encourage everyone to, I know Sean's already gone, but to go to that because it's so enlightening. The impact that our airport has on our economy is huge, and we're so overpacked there that it was built for 30 million travelers. We're at 60 million now. There's no more capacity to build out. The footprint that they originally had is all built out. However, they are planning to put another terminal in where Doug Fox Travel is. That'll have to go out to vote. They expect a lot of pushback. That would have 19 new terminals. And then they also talked about the second airport, which everyone we were on one little mini bus going around the airport and everybody yelled, not Enumclaw.
Yeah.
And he said, no, it won't be Enumclaw, but it most likely will be Pierce County. And then next week, I took a meeting with Habitat for Humanity.
Me too.
That you did too. Okay. So I just wanted to hear what they have to say because
I've
it's
met-
related to Covington. Kent City Council members got to ride in golf carts at their parade.
What?
I just wanted to say, I know where we could snag a 6-person golf cart for the day if we wanted, but I don't know how that would work for the candy.
Hard to connect with the people.
Yeah,
Debbie, you know?
Okay, we could take turns getting out. If we want to speed it up, we could take turns. I'm gonna bring dog treats if that's allowed from a legal standpoint, or dog treats for instead of candy for kids. So I'll do one off with dogs while the rest of you do the
You're
kids.
gonna get bit.
No. That's it.
Thanks, Debbie. Jennifer.
I'm so bummed I missed Covington Days. It's like the first time maybe ever, and including the parade. I have been in the parade with all my, kids organizations and stuff through many years. So my advice on the speed thing is you need to have a person whose job it is to keep everybody focused and on task. It's necessary because the council members just get distracted talking to people.
I tried doing that by speeding up, and then I saw Debbie trying to run towards the truck. I'm like, that's not a good idea. I'm not gonna do that.
At least I was watching. We'd still be out there.
Maybe the electric bikes will take Christina's.
We hung on the side of the truck like the SWAT team.
Yeah,
It was
we did.
kind of funny.
The little scooters, electric
Yeah.
scooters, so fun. Yeah, so anyway, thank you to everyone for representing us and making us look good. Yeah, it's exciting.
Thanks, Jennifer. Joe.
I got a little bit of a small list here, but I'll start with the park pop-ups. The last couple weeks have been kind of arts and crafty. The staff last week made me make a bracelet, and this week they made me color. They have no problems telling me what to do. So it was fun. I really do enjoy going out there and seeing all the kids coming in and having fun and enjoying it. I will miss next week because I will be out of town, but Ethan, your staff is amazing. They put on great programs. I hope you can pass along my gratitude towards them. And then at our last meeting for PIC, we discussed the Supreme Court's decision on with the bar with the caseloads, and we are all kind of worried about, all the cities at PIC are worried about this caseload. There is one of the council members in Des Moines who is on PIC is a public defender, and did mention that, this is a benefit to us as we're able to serve our clients better. But yes, we all understand that this is going to be a problem with the cities and how we do prosecute and how it's unfunded from the state, but we have 10 years to figure this out. So we were all very in favor of trying to find ways to get our legislators to maybe push this back just a little bit longer so we can have more time to figure it out. But there was an interesting idea, because we all know that no one really wants to go become a public defender because you become a lawyer and you want to make all of that money at a law firm. And as a public defender, you don't. Teachers, if you work at a Title I school, which is the schools, the poorest schools, for 5 years, you get your student loans forgiven as long as you're making your payments. There was a thought, maybe see if the state could do something like that with people coming out of law school and saying, hey, we probably can't pay off all of your student loans or forgive all your student loans, but maybe we can help you a little bit with that for doing that. And that was a thought that I think a few of us had, but only one of us was brave enough to say out loud. So I give that to Sue Ann Hohammer. She's the one who said it out loud. So there was that. We also discussed the King County Transportation District tax and had a letter ready to go, and that was sent out. And then I get crib notes from what the meeting was. They're not the official notes from PIC. Would council like to see the crib notes, or would they like just to wait till the regular notes come out? Because if you would like them, I can send them off to Krista when I get them. We don't have a meeting next month, so you won't see anything for August. But if you would like the crib notes, or would you like me to send you the regular notes from the meeting?
I think the regular is.
The regular fine with the regular note.
Okay, I will, when I get them, I'll send them to Krista to have them sent out to you.
I read all the notes once so when the packet comes out, I read all of that.
Yeah. Okay. And then what else I have? Covington Days, I had a blast, and yes, I agree. We got to figure out a way to move faster, passing out candy. But it was still great. I ran into the lady who was in charge of the preschool that both of my sons went to, and her comments were, "Hi, Joseph, you better have the good candy for me." It wasn't, "How are you doing? How are the kids?" It was, "Give me candy." So it was great. And oh, one more thing. I did at the last RTC meeting, I did invite Metro to come to Kids Fest to discuss the free Orca cards, or even pass out Orca cards to the youth. I know that it's more geared towards the younger kids, but I know when I've taken Logan in the past, I've brought the older one with me. He doesn't qualify for a free Orca card anymore, but there might be different age groups there. So having Metro come out to talk about it would be a great idea, I think.
Great. Thanks, Joe. Covington Days was very rejuvenating for myself, and it was great to see everybody there and all the people, and working the booth and actually talking about the history of how Covington began, and with one young lady, and talking about where we've come, where we were, how we've come, and everything. So that was, and why the city is shaped the way it is. So never say never, because those boundaries may change at some time. We just need to start working that process. So that was very good. I am looking forward to, we have Puget Sound Regional Executive Council on Thursday, so I don't remember what's on the agenda, but it'll be a very good meeting. It's going to be a long meeting. And then I'm really looking forward for 2 weeks when we have National Night Out. So that's always a great time, and meeting with people and talking about everything. So looking forward to that. So our next council meeting won't be for 3 weeks, but National Night Out will be in 2 weeks. With that, that's all I have tonight. So let's move into our second public comment period. Speakers will state their name, organization, and whether they're a Covington resident. Comments are directed to City Council, not the audience or staff. Comments should be related to city business. Comments are not intended for conversation or debate and are limited to 4 minutes per speaker. For attendees participating by Zoom, click the raise hand button. For attendees participating by phone, dial *9 to raise your hand. Once the city grants permission to speak, press unmute in Zoom or dial *6 to unmute by phone. Since nobody's in the audience, is there anybody online wishing to address council this evening? Seeing nobody raise their hand or approach the podium, that concludes our second public comment period. We do not have an executive session tonight, so this meeting is adjourned at 8:08.